All right, welcome to Never Again Radio. This is episode 5 podcast. This is so terrible. This is brought to you by Never Again Clothing. You can get all my new clothing at www.neveragainclothing.com. I have all my new shirts up there now. It is also brought to you by SBI Bail Bonds
of PA.
Jesse Shive, if anyone needs to be bailed out tonight, tomorrow, the next day, look him up.
After the podcast.
It is also brought to you by Steel City Tattoos in Bethlehem. They're our first sponsor, besides myself and Jesse. So if you want to go down there, John McNeil, Aaron's down there, a bunch of guys. Anyone there can help you out. They are in Bethlehem. You can find their information out on Facebook, Instagram. I believe it's Steel City Tattoos. So to get right into it, our next guest is Ryzart, which is a good friend of mine who I've been using for 7 years to do almost half the designs that I put out every day.
How you doing?
Good, man. It's great to have you on. I'm glad that you came out this way. I know your schedule's busy and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. The first thing I want to get into is, because I know a little bit about it, but I wanted to go back further with it because there's not a lot to your story that I don't know. But how did you get well, what is it you do? And then we'll get into how it is that you started it.
Well, mostly I do now is a lot of motorcycle custom painting, airbrushing, gold leafing, pinstriping, the whole deal from beginning to end. I do custom paint on bikes, but I also do illustration work, tattoo designs, t-shirt designs for you. So, I mean, I can do it all, I could do any kind of medium really, but custom painting bikes is pretty much what I'm doing right now. And I have a new venture that I'm going to take on in the near future too, which will be tattooing.
Awesome. I didn't know you were going to try and do that at all.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. And not that I dislike painting bikes. It's just I feel like I want to try something new.
Yeah.
Something challenging. And,
Can I give you a suggestion?
Sure.
Paint guns. I have a very good friend that does it, and you can make a killing.
I've heard.
And you airbrush. You put it goes through an airbrush. Same thing, throw it through the gun, it's the only thing is it gets funny if you want to go crazy and do like pistols and stuff, any kind of like actions, you need to have like an FFL, a federal firearms license, but to do just like stocks and stuff, it's sick.
Have you ever
you can make
guns?
a lot of money, dude, and if I've seen your work, so I know you're really talented airbrush. You can airbrush crazy stuff and people pay it's a lot of money.
I mean, I could definitely do it. I mean, I always tell people, as long as it sits still, I can paint it, like any kind of medium. So, I mean, I've never been approached to do a pistol or a gun, but I totally would be.
Honestly, you should. It's good because, like I said, when I got a gun painted a while ago from a company in Easton, and the turnover, I would seriously walk into the guy's shop, and he took it on as like a hobby, and he would just have stuff stacked to the ceiling, and I said, "What is all that?" He goes, "Well, I put it on a website, and I just put, send the stuff." People were just sending him stuff from all across the U.S. Mm-hmm. And the dude would take months to do it. So I finally found a guy up in the Poconos, and beautiful. I mean, you give it to him, within like a day or two, it's done. And like I said, the medium you use, it's more of like it's a special kind of paint, but basically you do it. I mean, you can air dry it, you can put it in the oven and heat it up and stuff, but it is.
Cool.
You should look into it, especially if you do a lot of like motorcycle and stuff. Yeah.
A lot of guys that ride bikes also shoot guns, so it kind of,
Because you can do a lot of cool. I mean, like a rifle, you mind doing like a whole thing. You can do a lot.
Have you ever done a gun?
No, I haven't. I mean, but I definitely would want to do one for sure. I mean, I've painted a lot of stuff. I've painted furniture, bowling pins, helmets.
What's the most ridiculous thing that you painted? Like obscure. That was fun to do, but was also you were just like, I don't get this ever.
Well, I would say, I mean, I get why the guy wanted to paint it, but it was most obscure was prosthetic.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's cool when you can do that.
Yeah, and that was really fun. And the guy shows off my artwork everywhere because he has it on all the
Yeah.
time. So it's a really good advertisement too. You know.
Yeah, and it's a good speaking piece. You know, when people see it, it's like, hey, that's cool, and it's like automatically. Did you sign it?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
How
good.
old were you when you started getting into this? Because you've been doing it for a really long. I mean, I've known you for probably about 10 years because I probably met you 2 years before I started doing this through Nat, and then so I mean, we've been working together for almost. Well, it'll be 7 years in March.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since I was a kid. Like pretty much, I tell the same story all the time. Like I used to copy designs off of cereal boxes.
Yeah.
You know, like Lucky Charms, Count Chocula. I would sit there and just look at the box and try to mimic. You know, and from then on, I've always been into art, music. So pretty much my whole life, you know, I've always been into art, and I took it more seriously probably right around the time I got my driver's license. You know, I got into lowriders, mini trucks, and seeing that at the shows really pushed me to do that because I loved cars so much and I loved art, and what better way to do it?
Yeah,
both. You know,
because that's actually how we got connected first. Was when Nat was doing the lowrider stuff, and
Right.
were you painting trucks and stuff for those guys?
I was not. No, I mean, I did pinstriping designs,
Yeah.
and lettering and that kind of stuff on cars and trucks, but I wasn't doing full paint jobs only because I didn't have the room,
Yeah.
the space to do it, big enough shop space. So that's pretty much how I fell into painting bikes. You know, I had the shop space to do bikes, and when I had my own motorcycle, painted it, and just word kind of just spread, you know, and then it just snowballed into something, you know, that's what I do, you know, all the time now. So, but yeah, I just, you know, I like to try different mediums. You know, we discussed earlier watercolor painting.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really excited about that, and it's very therapeutic. It calms me, relaxes
Yeah,
me.
we're going to even trying to do T-shirt designs that kind of look like watercolor
Yeah.
too. I'd like to get into that for next summer.
Yeah, I remember asking you, you know, can we do some of these maybe in watercolor, you know, and I think it'll look really cool.
Yeah, I mean the screen printer I use is pretty rock solid with being able to do kind of like outside the box stuff. So they'll definitely be able to pull it off. So next summer I definitely want to go and start doing different stuff like that because it would look really cool to do that.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of that either.
Nope.
So now that you're doing it full time, you're doing a lot of bikes and whatnot, and then I started hitting you up because you were doing T-shirts for my brother's band. I think that's what the thing was, and then what I tell the same story about how I started this whole thing is you did the very first design that I ever had done, which is that one there, and then that was the selling point to me that I knew I was going to do this business. So it was really cool to get linked up with you and then having all those mutual friends and all that stuff. Mm. But, like, you've been doing it for so long. Like, what... Because I see your stuff on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff all the time. What stuff have you actually had published in magazines? Because you do get quite a bit of that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten... you know, at this point, I kind of forget every magazine that I've had stuff in, you know. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff in different magazines, but the one that I had, which was really cool, was in Iron Horse magazine, which I actually got the cover for.
Awesome.
One of the bikes I painted got a cover for it. So, I mean, that was really cool. A lot of motorcycle magazines. The Horse, Iron Horse. There's a couple more that slip my mind right now, but I mean, definitely magazine coverage is. You know, I used to get a lot more excited about it years ago. Like, oh, it's going to be in a magazine, and I'll get more work from it. But I've honestly noticed that I really don't get that much work from it. It's more word of mouth.
Yeah.
At this point, you know, like I get anybody I ask, and of course, I feel like I'm the worst business person, but like I should.
You're actually one of my favorite people to work with.
I should ask people more, like where have you heard of me? You know, so then you know where
It's
to advertise.
Yeah, but you know what? That's hard to pin down. Trust me, it is hard to pin down. But the good thing about it, if you are in magazines like that, it's a best-selling point you can get. Yeah, if somebody comes over and they're like, "Well, I don't know, I'm thinking about doing something on my bike," you can be like, "Here's some other stuff I done." You might have took them from spending a couple $100 to do like something basic to, well, you can do that. and then it just opens the whole door that you can do whatever.
See, but that's something I don't even think of. That's a good idea. You know, if somebody's asking for paint work and
can I just get a cool? Can I get a cool like metallic with some flames and stuff? Like, yeah, I can do that when I was 7, and like, yeah, I can do that. But this is what I've done, and it might, you know what I mean? It might open the door. It might just because I really like the pinstriping stuff. Like I like that whole thing on hot rods and stuff, and that's awesome. But a lot of people don't. They see it on TV, but they don't know, like, they're not all the people on TV. Like, there's people that actually can do that, and if they do that, it makes your bike look ridiculous.
And not only that, but everybody thinks that it takes as long as it takes on a TV show.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit, too.
Yes,
and
well.
You know, and I get that a lot. You know, they're like, hey, can I pick it up in a day? It's like, no. You know, like, and especially...
Yeah, because they watch it on there.
You know, paintwork, too. You know, they're like... can I come pick it up in 2 weeks? Like,
yeah,
no,
there's a curing process, and there's all kinds of stuff. And that's why I did when I had my tank when I had a bike painted, and then like the guy painted, and I don't know anything. I just don't. But he painted it, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty nice. And then he started like sanding it down. I go, what the hell are you doing? It was shiny. It looked great. And he goes, no. Like, we got to go like that. And I was like, I had no idea what was going on.
Wet sand and buff it.
It's a whole process that people don't know.
Right, and that's another thing, you know, like people, like you said, they look at it and they think it looks nice and shiny, but there's an extra step you can do. You wet sand it, you buff it, and it comes out like glass.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of dirt that you get in your clear coat, you sand that out. I mean, it's a tedious process, but it
pays off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the cherry on a top.
I mean, my biggest thing is when you do pinstriping and stuff like that, or you do, designs and stuff like that, how long did it take you to have a steady hand to actually go and do all that? Because that's, every time I see somebody do it, because I went out to Sturgis in 2005, and I was out there, and they before Billy Lane went to jail, he was building a bike live out there, and when he did it, they had a guy that was doing everything live, and I'm like, how the hell did they sit there and do all this stuff? And it just flowed perfectly, and it was like no mistakes. Of course, I have no artistic ability, so I don't know. But I mean, did it take you a long time to get into it, to be able to just do it, to go with the flow?
Yeah, it took me a while. I mean, you know, I think artistically that stuff came to me pretty easy, but picking up a pinstriping brush and trying to pinstripe is a totally different animal. Like, you know, I know guys that are tattoo artists that have a really steady hand pulling a line.
Yeah.
And then they take a pinstriping brush and are all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's just learning how to use the right tool, you know. And, you know, I don't really have a time frame on how long it took me, but, I mean, in the beginning, the stuff looked horrible. You know, like, it all looked like clothes hangers stacked on top of each other. The lines were inconsistent. There was, like, it would start out thin and then get wider and then thin again.
Yeah, because you're pushing harder, pulling back.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it definitely takes a lot of practice. I mean, I still, to this point, I'm still learning and I'm still getting better. You know, I'm nowhere near being perfect at it. You know?
Well, yeah, you'll never. I mean, even the people I've seen do it, that, you know, like I said, out in Sturgis and stuff, the first ones will tell you that, yeah, I'm always a student. But I'm never not learning. Like, they want you to show them stuff so they can go, wow, I've never done that, and then they try. That's how it seems like the whole thing is. Like, you take things from everybody and kind of make it your own.
But, you know, doing it in a crowd setting is also a different kind of animal too, because I tried that years ago and I just found out it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of guys can get out there and they can pinstripe live in front of a bunch of people watching them. I'm not that guy. You know, like, I like to get in my studio, put some music on, and be by myself and take my time, whether it be longer or shorter, whatever I need to do. I'd rather work that way, you know. And, like, I've been fortunate that, you know, the customers I get bring the stuff to me and I get to do it at my shop.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't have to really travel much to do it. I mean, I could, and I've done that before. But at this point, you know, they bring it to me and you know, I do it then, you know. So it's really cool. And like you said, you're always a student of it. You're always learning, you know, so.
When you were talking about having to adjust to it, and Bicknell told me the same thing. It's kind of the same thing that you're talking about when you were designing the T-shirts and had to use the drawing system in the computers. Totally different than actually drawing.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not really much of a computer guy, and I've never done much artwork on a computer.
Yeah.
I've always been a hands-on kind of guy, and But I have used the computer for editing purposes on my artwork sometimes. But as far as doing like artwork from scratch on a computer, never. You know, it always starts out with a pencil, and a piece of paper and a sketch. You know, and that's always.
It's just because it doesn't feel real. Is that kind of what it is?
Well, what John was explaining to me is that, like, it's kind of like what he said. I was like, you can go to tattooing, but then when you go to, like, you can do a straight line tattooing, and then when somebody picks up a line to do pinstriping, it's totally different. Where he was saying it's just not, it doesn't feel like you're drawing. He said it took him so long. He's at a point now where he's really good at it, but it's like what Ryzart said. It's just something that you have to constantly keep doing.
I've actually picked up a tablet, Wacom. I guess that's the way it's pronounced. But it's a pen and a tablet, and you draw on it. And, you know, it took a little to get used to, but I'm using it a lot more now for sketching process, you know. And it's also convenient. I take it with me anywhere. I mean, you could also take a pen and paper with you anywhere, too. But as far as, like silly stuff, like erasing, and, you know, you go through so much erasers, and you go through so much lead that you buy for your pencils. With that, it's like indefinite, like you never use anything up. And you can also, it has different tools as far as like pen tools and airbrush tools, and so it's really cool to be able to bring that with you anywhere and kind of mess
and
around.
not have to have a truck full of stuff.
So I've kind of adapted a little bit with technology, but I don't think I'll ever go full on using computers for my artwork.
Yeah.
I don't ever see
Especially
that.
not Mac computers.
So, first of all, we had a giant conversation before you got here about
horrible.
Macs. Get out of here. So you would say that, like, your bread and butter, what you do is the gas tanks and the motorcycles and all that. Do you get a lot? I mean, I know I hit you up as much as I can for doing the T-shirts. Do you get a lot of stuff? Like, I threw like a couple people towards you, like Duffy, and I'm trying to get Dave from 610 Designs to start getting. I always throw your name out because you're one of the easiest persons to work with. I remember one, and you stay up so late too to work on it, which I want to get into about how you work and then do this and the hours that you put in. I don't even know how you do it, but we have already banged full T-shirt designs out in a night, and that is my favorite thing to do. And it's literally just me texting him and him texting me and being like this, like that, and then he's sketching it and showing pictures. And it's like, to be able to sit there and go back and forth and to take what's out of my head and for you to create it and then be like, well, adjust this and just that. Like, that is the best thing to me. Is I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, it's probably so fun to do what you're doing, and it's not at all. Like, it's a lot of work, but the creating, because I can't draw, I can't do anything, but to get my crazy ideas where, like, you're laughing and you're like, you really want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, trust me, we're doing a flamingo, and it's going to look like a postcard.
No, but you know what?
Like,
it is somebody to find.
Awesome T-shirts.
It is hard to find somebody that actually understands what you're saying, because if you go into anybody that's an artist and try to explain it to them, they don't necessarily pick up on what
helps is having the background with dealing with tattoo artists. Because I found out early when I got my first tattoo, like, my brother walked me through it, and I was like, I want this and I want that and I want it this specific. And Henry's like, look, like, you're paying this guy who's really good at what he does to come up with this, so just throw him your idea out. And that's how, even when I work with new people now, they're like, all right, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, it's what you want to do. I'll throw you an idea, and you completely create it how you want it. And that's how you save so much time doing this. Because even working with any of the people that I work with, I don't really ever have to have people redo stuff that often. It's small, minor things like, hey, adjust this, or, you know, and I always respect what you do. So I'm always just like, well, what do you think about this? You know what I mean? And then it's usually, it works itself out. I love doing it.
Well, I think myself and a lot of other artists, I would say, also would agree with me that if you let them just go and let them do their own thing, you know, I mean, again, you want some kind of direction and an idea thrown at you, but I always feel like, you know, if somebody comes to me, they already know my style, they know my artwork, just let me, you know. And I've actually shown people examples like, hey, you know, this job, even motorcycle paint jobs, you know, this job I did, the customer let me loose. This job I did, the customer had 100% involvement in. And you can see a huge difference in how it looks. Literally, because, you know, it's my artwork. You know me by that artwork, so, you know, why 100% be involved. I mean, obviously, you like my stuff. You know, why
let you do you.
Right. You know, it's frustrating sometimes because you get a lot of guys that do want to be 100% involved. And again, I don't mind, but then it makes you really not feel like an artist. Like you feel like just like a monkey that's just taking someone's idea and putting it on there, and you're not putting any of your creativity into it, you know? So
I love letting them do it because it takes, like, I have a general idea. I'll be like, look, this is what we want to do, and then you'll bang out a sketch, but it's like, I put that on you because I trust that you can do that. So it's like, all right, I told Ryzart about the design. So now I know that there's a timeline to this, but like, I don't have to think about that anymore because that's in your hands. I'm not going to be like, hey, where is it? Hey, I think we should do this. You should do that. And then it's like, that's annoying to me at all. It's like, it's like if I wanted to do that, I would have just forced myself to draw or like put some work into it. Like, I like giving the person the idea and the time to do it and then just walking away from it. Because I got to tackle a million other things. I got to start talking to this guy about T-shirts. I got to start talking to this. And it's like, I have a breath of fresh air because it's one less thing that I have to deal with. And then when I get the picture, and that's when I'm super excited. Like, hell yeah.
It's the same thing with tattoos. Like, you know, I have tattoos and people always come up to me and say, hey, did you design all your own tattoos? No. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want my artwork on me? Yeah. I go to a tattoo artist because I love his stuff.
And that's why you go to that particular person to get his take on it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you know, so I think a lot of people mostly just don't understand. They figure if you can draw anything that you just can do everything yourself. But no, I mean, you know, I've had a guy do a logo for me, you know, because I loved his artwork and I wanted to see what his take would be on it. You know, like I've done logos for myself and that's cool, but I just wanted to see his take on it, and I got a logo done by him, you know? And, of course, that logo got copied by some guy in France. Some guy in France literally, I mean, identically copied the exact logo, erased my name.
A lot of people do that. I saw it done once, and that's only because I'm guaranteed there's a bunch of people that do it with the stuff that we're doing. But the Rosie design, Henry caught it because a guy in a forum saw it on Amazon or something. They were selling the T-shirts and it was called Snort Grunt, and they took the Rosie as is, took Never Again out, and it looked awful, but they were still selling shirts. And then luckily one of his friends gave a shit enough and like they bothered Amazon and was like, this is that, and they finally took it offline. But the guy was like from Thailand. So
but see,
like,
that's
guarantee it's back
nobody's gonna catch him.
I was flattered by it, but then, you know, I see
give you
what
credit
you go
for
through with you. I didn't draw it. I'm flattered because I'm like, all right, well, somebody thinks what I'm doing is cool. But, you know, John spent all that time doing that. And we were discussing before the podcast started, you were saying about how you left Instagram for a little bit or stopped posting as much because I saw you had a problem with that.
Yeah, I did a pinstriping design of a dog on someone's tank. And, you know, I saw someone liked a photo of mine, and I occasionally I'll check other people's profiles just for the hell of it. You know? And I checked this one guy's profile, and I could tell by the writing he was Russian, or he was from Russia, and literally he stitched that same exact design into a leather seat in a car. And I contacted him about it, and it's like, hey, what's up, man? Why are you just stealing the design? You didn't. I mean, I would totally let him use it if you just at least ask for permission, you know, just at least have the decency and respect to ask.
Yeah.
You know, and he never
It wasn't
asked.
like he was doing it on a tank. He was doing it on a seat.
Yeah, and like I put it on Instagram. I showed the pinstriping design I did and the seat, and people just started bombarding his Instagram page.
I saw it. His looked awful.
And he ended up like deleting or stopping all incoming comments or something like that. So, I mean, you know, I was super happy that people,
good,
you know,
fuck that guy.
But that's the thing. There are a lot of
vodka.
untalented people. That's all they do is troll the internet.
You're right.
Look for stuff they like, mix it around, and go, here you go. But that's the thing. Because it's so big and there's so many things,
there's nothing you can
it's
do.
hard to catch it. It's hard to catch
Right.
it, too.
I mean, and my wife tells me, she's like, well, you put it out there. You know, you can't bitch. You put it out there. And
I know, but it's something about you put it out there and you put your name on it. If they take your name off, that's bad. Like, if you just put a picture like, hey, I just drew this, and then somebody took it and, okay, but if you did it and you put your name and you attached it, that's like okay, well, somebody, they paint the Mona Lisa and there it is. And you just scribble out everything else and just go, hey, I just did this.
Right.
Like, this kind of like that's not.
I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you don't want people to copy your stuff, but at the same time, you want to advertise.
That's right.
People,
I think you get more positive stuff out of it than you do the negative.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
But it's the negative. It's like the positive feels good, and you're like, oh, awesome, and you keep going.
But still, it'd be awesome if they just put this was done by, and they give you credit. Then, then it's like the ultimate, like, yeah, look, people are looking at my stuff, and right there's your name, but they take your name. That's, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's I kind of feed off of that, too. I mean, I know it sounds kind of silly, but, I mean, I actually feed off of people's responses online. So if I'm doing a design and I get a crap load of likes, I'm like, cool, it gets me psyched that I'm doing something cool. And then sometimes you do something that doesn't get that much, and it's like you start
questioning yourself.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
I know you do.
I just put up this video I did, and it didn't get a lot of likes. And I'm like, man, my friend spent so much time with this. This video looks so good.
It is
and it's
very
really good. And
it
a lot of people, people were texting me about it. But what I think happened is people just watched it and didn't like it. But I looked today, and it's over 200 views. Like, people are watching it, but it's just... I'm trying to sew, and I'm doing so much better, but I have to disconnect myself from this 100%.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
And it's impossible to do, especially like you. It's not like I'm doing landscaping, and I can just be like, oh, whatever, that lady's yard got screwed up. Take a couple bucks off. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that I've created from nothing, and it's like this thing that I'm building and growing with. And I mean, I'm sure it's just as hard where it's like you're drawing your whole life, and then you just finally start putting yourself out there, and then just because someone doesn't like it doesn't mean that they didn't. I mean, there's plenty of times I roll through Instagram and just don't like stuff just because I'm just like, whatever.
Well, that's one of the rants I wrote on the guy who copied the latest design from Russia. And I said, why do I have to spend all these hours and staying up till 2 a.m. trying to come up with cool stuff and design stuff, and meanwhile somebody else can just take it, and not put that time and effort that I'm putting into it, So it's frustrating.
And your schedule's insane. I thought you were doing this full time, and I didn't realize that you work full time, then you come home and spend some time with your family, and then you grind into doing the artwork to 2 or 3, and then sleep for a couple hours, and then go right into work.
That's it. I mean, I get up for my day job at 6:30, and I get home
What do you do anyway?
Well, the place where I work at now, I started out as a welder, fabricator, and now I kind of moved up more into managerial, and we manufacture circuit breakers.
Okay.
So I've been there forever, man. I've been there since high school. So at this point, I've been there for 21 years. But again, it's one of those things where I totally want to do art full time, but I'm afraid to take that plunge.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people.
I got a lot of riding. I got a mortgage. I got 2 kids. I feel like it's just a scary thought for me. I think if I had done it sooner, then I would have been all about it. But I mean, at this point, I know that in the future, especially if when I get into tattooing and that kind of thing, I'm going to be looking forward to doing it more full time.
Yeah.
And taking that plunge because it's my life. I love art. I'm passionate about it, and I definitely want to do it full time. And as far as my schedule, that's my schedule every day. Work, day job, come home, spend a little time with the family, and then get right back into it. And I'm doing it till 2 a.m. I mean, honestly, I don't go to bed any sooner than 2.
That's crazy.
And then I sleep for a few hours, and 6:30 get up and do it again. So I pretty much, that's my schedule Monday through Friday. I guess
once you get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard in the beginning. I would go to work in my day job, and I'm like a zombie. So I wouldn't really wake up by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
That's my wake up time.
I like doing that because the whole first half of the day is just gone. And you're like, oh, all right. Okay, just waking up now.
Yeah.
Don't remember much of the morning.
Right.
It's because you don't have a child.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up next is that you just recently had what is it, a boy?
Boy.
So you have 2 boys now?
Yeah.
How has that been dealing with 2 kids now? Because both my brothers have 2 kids, and it's totally different than having one. How much does that weigh on you now with having the second son and having to keep this crazy schedule?
Well, I would say the one feeling I have a lot is guilt. Because I feel like I don't get to spend that much time with them, and now with the newborn, I just feel guilty that I'm not spending that much time with them, and again, I try to spend it, on weekends, I don't touch nothing, like I don't paint, I don't do anything. It's like family time. But again, I'd like to do it more, even during the week, but it's just such a tight schedule that, but it's definitely a lot more difficult. It's challenging. I think one kid is hard in the beginning because it's new and fresh. And then once you get your second one, you're a little bit more used to it. And it's, you're not as scared as you are at the first one. But it's a lot of work,
I'm glad my wife doesn't listen. That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. And
I've been recently trying to pull back and not, because I've been, to get this off the ground and just to get it to where it's at, I've literally just been doing it nonstop every single day. And it's just become a force of habit now where I'm trying to disconnect from it, and I'm trying to have those weekends where I don't do anything, but I got so many people pulling me in different directions, and I have my hands in so much different stuff where it's this is the first year where I'm all right, man, you're not... Last Tuesday was the first time I didn't post anything about Never Again. I didn't talk to anybody about Never Again, and it was just me for a day. And I went down to my buddies and played Battlefield, and then came home and ate Cadbury eggs and passed out. And I woke up and felt like a totally different person. I wasn't burned out because I'm just every day it's just grind. You have to make time for yourself.
Right, but I mean, even on the days where I don't do anything art related, there's always this guilt that I'm not getting stuff done.
Yeah, it's you either have the guilt of not spending enough time with your family,
right?
Which is my guilt is that I'm not doing enough for the business, or that I'm not giving personal time to myself. And then if you actually give personal time to yourself, you're why am I not painting a tank right now? Because I could be providing for my family. Yeah, and that's what I go back and forth with constantly.
I fought through this for years because, especially my business, if I take off a day, I feel like I miss everything. Oh my God, I come in, everybody made all this money and I didn't do anything. But in the same respect, the way I look at it now is every so often I do need a solid day off of my phone's off. I don't care. Nobody call me. Nobody talk to me. But the reason because it basically restarts everything. Because if you keep going grind after grind, you're not really working up to your full potential anyway.
No, you're not.
You're kind of half-assing it because you're wearing down. But if you have that day that you can go, I don't care. Then all of a sudden it's like you recharge.
Yeah.
And you come back, it's so much better. So you really don't, you feel bad. Trust me, you're never going to get over it. You're always going to think you missed something. Because there's been days, legitimately, I've missed days that I'm not going in. I'm going to sit at home, I'm playing Xbox, and I come in the next day and they're like, yo, I wrote 10 bales. I made $20,000. And I'm like, that's awesome. I lost money because I played on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what? It's hit or miss. It really is. It really, if you went in that day, would you really have made a difference? Probably not.
No.
You know what I mean? You can't. You got it. That's how you got to think.
Yeah, it's hard, and I'm trying to do it more, but again, it's just constant in the back of my mind. I don't know. I blame my parents for giving me such a friggin' crazy work ethic. I just kind of feel like I always got. And it comes, I know, from my family, because my dad, to this day, he's 64 and he works 7 days a week.
No, I get my work ethic from my dad.
He's just crazy, and I feel like at his age, he can still work me under the table.
But how old is your first child?
He's 6.
Does he give you a guilt trip?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
My daughter's 3. And even coming here, she was just here yesterday. So when I told her I was coming here again, she's like, I want to go to Mr. Fauerbach's house.
She was here.
I said, you can't.
I want to go home. And then you were like, fine, we're going home. And she's like, I want to stay.
Yeah. And she goes, you're going to Mr. Fauerbach. I said, yeah. I said, you can't go. It's going to be too late. Well, I don't want you to go. why do you always go? You're always working. And I'm like, you're 3. Still guilt trip me into feeling bad. So I keep doing it. And my wife will literally yell at me and just go. Because I fall for it. Every single time I'm like,
I do too. Yeah.
I can't go. And she's like, she'll yell, just go. Surprisingly, my wife is like the enforcer.
Yeah.
I'm a pushover. Because I have a daughter. So I'm a pushover. Whatever she wants, whatever. But she's at the age now, if I'm nice, hey, look, we did this. She rats me out every single time. I get ratted out. But either way, back to you. I don't know. You can't read the board, can you?
No, I can read the board. I wanted to leave an awkward pause. One of the questions I had was, what was probably the hardest thing that you had to do paint-wise? Like something that you didn't even know if you'd be able to get it done, or like just the most difficult thing that you've accomplished through your career of doing art?
Well, I mean, I would say there's a paint job I just did recently that was it took me a long time, and it totally kind of snowballed from this idea that we originally had, and it was really difficult to do because the bike had a bunch of different panels on it, and initially the idea for the artwork was going to be much larger, and you would see some of the artwork going through the panels, and I didn't like the idea, and I ended up doing artwork in each individual panel, and it took forever, and it was really challenging as far as like how many ideas can I put into one bike and make it all flow.
Yeah.
You know, and not make it look like it's just a bunch of random things thrown together.
Yeah, there's just pieces that you put that you plastered on.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty challenging. I mean, that's the one that sticks in my mind. I mean, you know, my brain is so fried that I can't really think back too far about, you know, what was real challenging, because
It's just a blur.
It's a blur. It really is. Everything's a blur. You know, like I have recollection of some things, but customers will come to me and say, hey, you know, I was looking on your blog and I saw this, you know, blue and gold paint. I'm like, what? Like, I've done so many blue and gold. Like, you need to send me a photo, you know?
Do you still keep up with the blog, or what's like your main thing that people can go see to get work from you, or to just look at your stuff? Because I know you restarted Facebook as just a
business page. Yeah, so I did a Ryzart business page separately for and then I keep my other one as a personal account. I do Instagram, Facebook, and I do the blog.
The blog you still do?
I do, yeah. I mean, that is probably the best place to go to and see the most current stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because the website, I don't do the website myself, and, you know, website guys sometimes are impossible to get a hold of, for them to get you to update stuff, you know, so I'd rather just do it myself, you know. Again, it's one of those things where I just like to be in control of everything.
Yeah.
And so
and if you know how to get the pictures up there, it's 10 times easier than waiting on somebody else.
So I put the pictures on there. I don't write much, you know. It's everything about artwork. That's all I do, you know. And that's the most recent stuff that you'll see is on my blog and Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. What's the easiest way to get a hold of you if somebody wanted to get something done?
Phone number, my phone number, or email. You know,
what's your email?
Ryzart@yahoo.com. Okay. RYZART. And my phone number, 908-578-6212. That's probably the easiest way. And as far as like a lot of people want to see I get mixed bag too as far as how people want to view my artwork. There's more like internet savvy and technology savvy people that will go online and see it, and there's still some people that actually want to see it like in print.
Yeah.
Hold it in their hand and see it. So I you know, I do have portfolios and stuff I can show them. But again, online is probably the best bet. You know, I post a lot of stuff on Instagram, on Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram is probably where I mean, Facebook's just Facebook. I just wish it would go away at this point. But Instagram, I really like. I'm on there probably 90% of my time pushing stuff. I get more feedback from, more direct, just, I don't know. I like Instagram so much better. There's no bullshit. It's just, this is what it is, and if you like it, like it.
Yeah, and I get more direct feedback on Instagram too, more than Facebook.
It's just more, it just cuts through all the bullshit of like, I don't know.
I think Facebook. I just felt like when I first discovered Instagram, I was like crazy about it because I think within the art community, a lot of artists, tattoo artists, and pinstripers and everything, they use it, and it's like it becomes a really cool source of inspiration. So you can go on there and check out other people's artwork, and like even, I mean, I have off days where I'm not feeling it. I don't feel like drawing or painting, and you know, I'm tired or whatever, and I could go on there and feel like shit. I got to pick up a pencil and draw. You know, because you see so much cool artwork on there, it's crazy. You know, so
my feed's just usually filled with like horrible memes from like kind of strippers. What was the other thing I was going to ask you too? Son of a bitch, it blanked out because I was talking about just horrible stripper girls. What was it? Shit, I'm drawing a total blank now.
Have you ever been to Newark? Strip clubs.
Newark strip clubs? No.
No.
The most I got to was Grandview, which is just the classic that everyone should go to. And then a couple of times we hit stuff like on vacations and stuff like that. But the Fox I recently started going to again. What are you laughing? They look really good. And then they come around to get their tips and you're like, ooh. But I don't want to talk bad on the Fox. I want to find a girl from the Fox and do a podcast with her. I want to find like the worst like runaway there and like do a whole show called Tales from the Fox.
Yeah, no, Newark I drive through very fast. And we just keep on going.
Those are I don't know why, but those are the spots I used to go with my friends all the time. Was the Newark strip club because for us.
Are you from You're from Jersey, right?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Jersey. I lived in PA for a few years in Easton, and I moved back to Jersey, so I'm in Westfield now. But originally, I'm from Jersey my whole life.
Yeah, because I don't know where you were living, but I came with Nat. And he picked something. It was like a star that you did for him.
That was in Easton. All
right. So that was really the first time I met you is when I was with Nat, and he picked that up. Yeah. And I just remember that looked so cool. But it's just crazy how long I've actually known you and how far that's intertwined.
I remember that. Actually, something made me think of that.
That was cool. Recently. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a metal
star. I think he cut out.
And he ground some patterns into it. You know, you could do like grind marks on it. And then I sprayed like a candy purple color on it and just did some hand-painted artwork on it. Yeah, it was fun.
I love seeing the stuff that he used to create, like when at work. Now it's just all bike stuff because he's obsessed and I have to get him on here. But when he used to make like wine racks out of metal and stuff, he does some cool stuff.
He did some cool, it was almost like instead of having a chalkboard out of steel, and he made like these little butterflies, you could put like notes on it with the butterflies on a steel.
He always does that stuff for work, and then after the post, it always talks about how someone like walked by and knocked it over. Like all the shit always gets wrecked at work. But no, he does some cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
I still can't remember what the hell I was going to ask you, and it's bothering the shit out of me. I'm trying to read the board. Touched over that. Who else have, what's the latest project you're working on? That's like, I don't know, like you said, you're doing a lot of the gas tanks and stuff like that.
I got a really cool sign that I'm doing for a buddy's shop of mine. He's opening up his own motorcycle shop, or it's actually open up already. It's in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. And I'm doing a wood sign for him for the outside of his building. I'm really excited about that. And that's another kind of...
Do you normally like work with wood, or is it always just usually metal you're working with?
Well, as far as metal goes, it's customer stuff, motorcycle stuff, but I really love working with wood. I mean, that's another thing that I kind of want to get more into is doing sign work. I've started out in metal at work, doing welding and that kind of stuff. And I don't know if it's because I just did it all the time, I got kind of burnt out on it, and wood has become kind of like my hidden passion. I love working with wood, and I want to do more sign work, and I'm hoping, I think a lot of people at this point, because they see I do so much motorcycle stuff, they think that that's all I can do. And, I want to branch out, like I said, do tattooing and do more sign work too. And I'm hoping by doing my buddy's sign for his shop, that'll kind of get me some more sign work as well. So it's a really cool design. it's a square background, and the front his logo is going to have the wood cut out around the logo, and I'm going to stain the wood, do like a sunburst fade around it, so it almost looks like a Les Paul, like an old Les Paul kind of finish on it.
Yep.
And all gold leaf. All the logo is going to have gold leaf on it and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, this was a question I put up there.
I think that's what I was actually couldn't remember. So I was gonna try and.
I brought it up to him, and he made funny faces at me and wrote it up there, really small up there. And I've seen
it's
people.
Not that small, people.
It is, but I've seen people do gold leaf. I'm completely baffled. Now, is it like something you lay down and then you actually put the sheets of leaf over it? Because when you kind of watch people do it, it looks like they skip over like every step. And I just remember them putting a piece of thing down and then taking a brush and finally brush, and it comes out like this crazy design. I don't understand, like...
Well, the crazy design, you have to... I mean, there's 1,000 different ways of applying the design. So, like, the way I do it is I usually draw the design out on paper, and I'll transfer it on to whatever I'm working on. So let's say it's a sign.
Yeah.
I'll take the drawing, I'll blow it up to the size I need it to be, and then I'll use carbon paper, and I'll actually trace the design, and I'll leave an image. Once you peel the carbon paper and the drawing off, it'll leave the imprint of the design on what you're working on. And then you have to take a brush and use, it's called size. It's basically a glue for the gold leaf.
Okay, so it's, okay, yeah. So that's how, like, and then when you set it down, when you're brushing away, because the gold leaf's so thin,
right?
Is that why it kind of flakes off? But now, how hard is it to not flake the stuff off that's on the glue?
Well, it's a fine line, you know, like when you put the glue down. So basically, you're following the design that you drew out.
Yeah.
With the brush, you're applying the gold leaf size down. Then you put the gold leaf sheets on top. You brush it away, and whatever spot doesn't have glue on it brushes away, and whatever does sticks.
Yeah.
And that's also becomes like a fine thing where you gotta know the right time when to brush it, and also like if you ever see those guys do like those really cool spins in a gold leaf, it almost looks like spins in metal. You have like this little velvet tool that you use and do the spins on. That becomes even more critical because you can't have the gold leaf glue be too wet, because then you'll just pull the gold leaf off.
You move it away, yeah.
If it's too dry, then the spins won't appear.
No, I do vinyl lettering, so I skip all that. And I buy the stuff that has the
gold.
That has the spins in it already. It's called engine turn.
The engine turn, and the stuff looks. Really,
I cheat.
The stuff looks really cool, and the spins look so neat and vibrant. You know, so like.
Yep. It's not for every kind of design, and I've done stuff for people. Like I said, I do it on the side, and the reason I did it is because back in the day, my mom's boyfriend did it like part time as a business, and he would do like sprint cars and stuff like that, and they would come in and want all these like crazy crap. So when I was bored, I would just go on the computer and just make my own stickers. Like I'm gonna copy Oakley's logo and make my own Oakley.
Allegedly.
No, I love Oakley. Oakley trademark, but like stuff like that, and I put it on my car. So I started doing it. So, and what happened was when I took over my business, I was like, "There's a lot of downtime here." So I actually went and got a vinyl machine, like a cheap one, and said, "I'm going to make my own promo stickers that has my name on it." That's why I bail you out. Like, here, throw this on your car, and I do. I see my stickers everywhere now, and it was just something I do for fun. But I know about all that stuff, like the gold leaf and the engine turn and then the 3D crap they do and all that stuff, and I actually
purchased a plotter years ago with the hope.
They're so much cheaper now.
Right, with the hopes of using it as like a stencil.
Yep.
For stencil work.
Yep.
And I don't know, there's a learning process to it.
It is.
Can either of you make me stencils?
Huh?
I want stencils made, and I can't find anyone to do it.
Well, no, because that's like plastic. That's like thick.
No, I just need something to like bomb walls with.
Yeah, you need some like Mylar kind of.
I know somebody who does vinyl. Somebody can cut you out the designs, and you just go over it.
Do.
Put it this way, I made back in the day. I made Slipknot jumpsuits. We wanted to go see Slipknot, and we bought those stupid jumpsuits, dyed them black, and I cut the design, the negative out in vinyl, stuck them on the fabric, and we used fabric paint and went over it like screen printing, and peel it off.
Yeah,
So,
like say
same
I was
thing.
going to do something down at the park.
I
and
can cut it
needed
out and
to-
you can spray it over, peel it off. Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm going to start hitting signs up on
No,
the
no.
or anything like that.
No.
I mean, that doing stencils is kind of like what I do a lot of times, when even if I'm doing airbrushing,
Sure.
or pinstriping, like I'll actually make my own stencils. So basically, it's this tape that they use, like that's the backing tape for vinyl stickers.
Yep.
You know, to tape
Transfer
off the
tape.
top. Right.
Transfer tape, yep.
I'll use the transfer tape. I'll lay it down on a tank.
Well, yeah, there's different. It's like a tape, and then there's like I also have a clear tape.
Right, that's
which is
what
like
I don't
plastic.
like
you
using.
got to use the paper stuff.
Right.
But yeah, the guy who paints my guns.
You can draw on it and
Yep.
erase and
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah,
really
it's just
cool.
like regular masking tape, pretty much. It's not as tacky, but
Right.
yeah, the guy who paints my guns. When I went there to do that, I was like, "Hey, I have some design ideas. I'm gonna cut them out on my cutter." And he's like, "I have a cutter," and that's the only reason he had it was when somebody wanted some kind of crazy design. Cut it out. He sticks it on, airbrushes it on, and just peels it off.
Yeah. And I have that vinyl machine, the plotter, and it basically just collects dust. Like I thought I was going to use it, and like I'm so pissed at myself. I spent, a good amount of money on it.
Yeah,
and
no,
now
they're
I
so
don't
much
use
cheaper
it.
now.
And it's like it just sits there, and because I feel like I've gotten so fast doing it by hand.
Yep.
That I don't feel like sitting in front of a computer, and
And once again, it's a different kind of thing you got to get used to. Like
Right.
I have no artistic ability, but I can take a design and break it down into
Manipulate
every
it.
little thing, and fix every little thing. But what I started doing with mine, after I made you can only make so many stickers before you get bored. So,
Yeah, we should make mine.
whoa, I should. Those are.
I was just clear my throat.
Yeah, I started buying t-shirt. You can buy t-shirt vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
So I buy t-shirt vinyl, cut it out, and now I like throw away t-shirts I give the clients. I just make my own. That's when my logo changes constantly because one week I'll be like, I don't know, I'm kind of angry, so I'll make an angry thing and I'll just hand them out, and they're like, hey, that's awesome, but you can do a lot with it now. But back then it was like I still remember years ago him being like, hey, let's print this on here and iron it on. And I'm like, iron on? That's horrible. But now my thing is a full-on thing. I have a heat press. I press it on, and it's like I've had shirts for like 2 years now that it doesn't come off. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of thing. But yeah, you should look into it.
Yeah,
you can do that kind of stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to find the time to devote to it so I can kind of learn it and use it, because I've heard nothing but positive stuff about it, and it speeds up your process and stuff. But again, I've gotten so fast doing it by hand that I just feel like, I don't feel like wasting my time sitting on a computer when I could just draw it out. And on that transfer tape, it's cool because you could draw right on it, erase like on regular paper.
Yep.
So I'll draw it out. And it's like almost like sequential masking. So like you're basically
Yeah, you can mask an area, draw it out, and take a knife, cut it all out, and it'll peel just that part.
right.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
is.
what I do
Yeah.
a lot. Like I'll take certain sections,
Yep.
cut them out with a blade, peel them out, and I'll even save the pieces sometimes if I want to back mask those areas
Yep.
and not get overspray
Yep.
on them. And I'll stick them back on. It's really cool. I mean, it doesn't have that much glue on.
No, it's not as tacky, and it
won't
is
feel
useful,
paint.
but it's good enough to stick. But I do know back in the day when I had my tank, I bought this crazy kind of vinyl, and I cut the design. I couldn't get it to mold around the tank, and that's why when I was after that, I talked to the guy that does like car wraps.
Yeah.
That is out of my realm. People are like, can you wrap cars? If I could, I would make so much money. They make baselines like $3,000 every single car, and like I watch them do it. That's out of my wheelhouse. I don't even know how they're doing it.
And I've seen a truck that was covered in a wrap before, and it looks seamless. Like it looks
it
amazing.
is.
I can't believe
They
that
take a heat gun to it, and they'll stretch it,
Yeah.
and somehow you can't tell, and it just
I can always tell.
bothers me. No, it bothers me because I'll look at it and I'm like, I so wish I could do that because I could make so much money, but you can't. I don't have the time to learn how to do it either.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's cool if you want to, like, if you're not really, you don't want to dedicate a certain color to your vehicle and you want to just put something on there.
It totally ruins the paint. I don't care what anybody
Does it?
says. When you take it off,
Somebody told me that they're like, no, it's a good way to protect your paint.
no, bull crap. What it does, it automatically knocks off all like the sheen off your car.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, supposedly you can buff it out, But think about it. You're putting a sticker on something for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But they always tell you, like,
I
take
know
it
my
to a
Big Johnson
professional and have them
stickers are in
remove
my
it
car.
for you. So I'm thinking to myself, what are they doing that's so special?
They have fancy stuff that costs a lot of money. That's the exact
won't
same as
ruin your
Goo
paint.
Gone. It's the exact same stuff as Goo Gone. It just has a fancy name to it. Because I bought the fancy stuff, and then when one day in a pinch, I was like, I'm just getting Goo Gone. And I went in, I was like, it works exactly the same as that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the same thing. But they make a lot of money. There's a company I'm not going to name drop because I'm going to
Reichel Funeral Home.
Yeah, Reichel Funeral Home. No, going on 145, and they're amazing. I mean, it looks like the car was painted that with designs on. You can't find a seam if you tried.
Wow.
But they get a lot of money for it.
More than a paint job, or less you thinking of?
Well, it said base is about $3,000.
How much is it?
Well, you saw Sicily's car, right?
Yeah.
That Sicily's car with the pizza guy and stuff.
Yeah.
They went there,
But the car has to
and that's a Fiat.
But the car has to be flawless, though. It can't have any dents.
Well,
Can it stick on primer?
If it's sanded, it's got to be smooth. It can't be gritty. Because if it's gritty, just like vinyl, you'll see every little. That's what people don't understand. Like when I did like magnetics for my Jeep and stuff. And the reason I did them was because I can get into it. But if I have to go and do surveillance somewhere, I'm not going to have huge magnetics on the side that say bail bonds.
No, I never thought of that. I just thought you were lazy.
Yes. But the thing is, when you put a magnetic on and you look and like, I'm serious, in a little tiny pebble of dirt and you put a magnetic over it, it'll look like there's a boulder behind your thing. Like, so it's the same as the vinyl. If you have any little thing, you're going to see it. So they literally will strip the crap out of it. So if it's rough, they sand it down. As long as it's smooth, I think it sticks.
So it doesn't matter if it's primer or paint as long as it's smooth.
I would assume they would probably want it painted,
right,
just because it's got a better adhesion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think primer, because it's kind of rough, I think you can see it. You know what I mean? It won't be as crisp.
Right.
But so what? Go to Mako and spend $200 and have them go like this and paint all over, and then just put
over the Pep Boys over off of.
I was at Pep Boys today, and
I thought it was closed.
Turned me away.
They
Turned
are
me
still
away
open.
today.
Is it still Manny Mo and Jack? The big.
Yes, they have the guys on top of the building. Yeah, turned me away today.
I remember for Halloween, myself, Josh Mariano, and Chris Gorski went as the Pep Boys.
There you go. Were you Manny Mo or Jack?
I was Manny.
Okay. You were lead guy?
Yeah.
Were they okay with you being?
Lead. Okay. I'm always the lead. Josh was like, "Oh, I don't want to be Manny."
Awkward silence.
One of the things I wanted to ask you that I saw that Josh Lone put up was where you got your name from. Because the Urban Dictionary does not have the definition that I think you were going to give me.
He's trying to catch you on something. I can see by his face.
No, Josh looked it up and it was something like 11 inches and like metal fabricating or something.
No, it said it's the something about having an 11-incher and being able to play a piano.
Yeah, I was close. Metal fabricating.
Yeah, something like that.
Tickling the ivory.
And that honestly, my name did not totally come from that. You know, like seeing that and thinking, hey, that's cool. You know, Josh brought that up one day. He was like, hey, I was on Urban Dictionary and I typed your name in there and it said this, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of thought that maybe that's how I came up with the name. I don't know. But, I mean, my name, it's kind of a long story, but I'm of Polish descent. Okay? And my name in Polish is Ryzart. Okay?
Yeah.
So for years, I used to sign my artwork Ryz, R-Y-Z. You know, so like the way Ryzart is spelt in Polish is R-Y-S-Z-A-R-D. So I was like, you know what? Get rid of the S. That looks gay. So let me just write R-Y-Z. I'll write Ryz as my signature. And then I forget who it was. Someone mentioned something said, hey, you know, Ryzart, you know, mentioned a name, and I'm like, hey, that sounds pretty cool, you know. So
yeah, no, it does.
And it's kind of very similar to my name, Ryzart.
Yeah.
Ryzart.
That's a much cooler story than Josh saying that you stole it from the Urban Dictionary.
No, I mean,
you're wrong, Josh Lone. You're a wrong man. Apologize. Send this man something from Edible Arrangements.
So yeah, I mean, that's you know, that's how it came about. So like, it's spelled almost even similar
Yeah.
as well, like to my Polish spelling of my name, to the way I spell Ryzart. You know, so it's very close and it sounds close. And I wish I could remember who mentioned it, so I could give him credit for coming up with my name that I use for my business. But
we'll just say Suomato.
Yeah, it was at this point it had to have been like 10 years ago that I started using that name. You know, because before that, when I signed all my artwork, it was just Riz, R-Y-Z. You know, and now it's Ryzart. So. Yeah, it's kind of I thought it's kind of a dull story, but I'm glad that you liked it.
No. I mean, it's better than what Josh accused you of.
He's a piece of garbage. Piece of garbage.
Maybe Josh, hopes that I have an 11-incher. I don't know.
Let's find out.
He's in love with you.
Yeah. I meant through Josh, not me. The other thing that we wanted to ask you is... your style of a lot of stuff that you do is very SoCal. Like, where do you get that from?
I just love the whole SoCal, like that whole Cholo.
Yeah, I love it. A lot of the stuff that I throw at you and do that Cholo thing, like, I'm doing just Cholo stuff next summer. Like, I'm just doing straight gangster stuff. Like, I'm making prison shoes. Like, nice. I'm going all in. I'm
love
making
it.
Khakis, and I'm going to cuff the bottom and put, like, the bandana print.
That's awesome,
all on the bottom of the cuff. Like, I have, like, 2 other people I'm going to work with, and I have some stuff that I'm going to throw at Bicknell. But I'm just doing straight, because that's a lot of the stuff in my very beginning of how I started it is very the Cholo based stuff, and that was because I think I let you just kind of do your own thing. But like going into it with that, I'm going flannels, bandanas, maybe even some sunglasses, some mustache wax.
I'm so obsessed with that style.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But that goes with a lowrider kind of thing, anyway.
Yeah, it does. And
it's so badass. Like, it's one of the few things that has such a grip of, like, a feeling to the style.
Yeah, I mean, every Halloween I dress up as a Cholo guy. I think I secretly want to be, like, one of those guys.
We did that for Nat's bachelor party, and we all dressed up like Cholo Mexican gangbangers, and we went to Chili's and, like, chain restaurants that were based around, like, Mexican stuff, and, like, sat at the bar. We're just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, and you could just talk ridiculous. Like them, and it's,
it's fun.
Yeah. But, yeah, I totally... I don't know where it came from. I think as soon as, again, when I got into cars, when I got my driver's license, I was instantly hooked on lowriders and lowrider trucks. And
have you ever done like the hood of a car or like airbrushed stuff on cars?
Oh, man, no. I mean, again, it comes down to space. If I had a bigger shop that I could do this stuff in, I'd totally be doing cars. Actually, Josh is working on a truck now. And he's going to have me paint it for him, which I'm super excited about. Yeah. Because that'll be like my...
Will you do it at his garage?
We have...
I want to see his garage. I keep seeing pictures of it. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
He fought tooth and nail to get that thing put up, so it was even cooler to the end of that story is that he got to put it up.
Anybody that has a garage bigger than mine, I'm envious of. Because I just want that bigger space. I feel like I could be doing so much more.
Yeah.
If I had the room. But, Josh is going to let me do his whole truck.
That's awesome.
From beginning to end, and I'm really excited to do it, and I can't wait to do it because that'll be like getting my name out there into the truck world. And who knows, if I get enough of it.
When you guys do that, let me know. I'll talk to some people and see if we can film it, or I can even set up GoPros, and I'll just let Josh tape it, and I'll dump it every night. And then you can just change the angle each day. You do it differently.
Dude, GoPros, you can time lapse them. Yeah.
I want to do a time lapse. I actually want to do a time lapse on a paint job I do, even on a motorcycle, so that I can show people how long it takes. Like, this is the time.
I said you can use my GoPro because I told you last time. My wife still can't. I can't justify a use for the GoPro that I bought. If somebody uses it, you can do. They actually have time lapse settings, and they have like clocks and stuff you can set to them. But you do time lapse. It's neat.
I totally want to do it from like beginning. I've discussed this with someone too. Like, do it.
Well, let's do it for the Josh's truck then.
Yeah, I totally want to do it, and I think, and since that's going to be such a huge project for me, to have it filmed too would be pretty awesome.
I can talk to my buddies and see how much they actually. My buddies that edit and stuff, they do such an awesome job, but they have full-time jobs and lives and kids and stuff. So if they want to actually put forth the effort of actually filming it and editing it, we could make it look ridiculous. But if they don't have the time to do that, I'll just still do GoPro stuff, and then
dude, GoPro stuff's awesome.
When they have time, I'll have them edit it too.
Yeah, GoPro.
I had a video done by
that video was awesome.
My wife's cousin, Mike Debbie. He used to work as a cameraman for the New York Giants, and now he works for a company in Brooklyn, and he does a lot of freelance stuff on his own, and he totally, he did that with the help of a couple of his friends that do editing and stuff and added music to it. And again, we didn't want something too long.
No, you can never have it too long.
You got to speed it up.
Yeah. I just shot a video, or they shot it. I didn't. Gerald yelled at me, "You didn't do anything." I didn't do anything. I got the girl, and that was it. Not after the video. I'm a loser. But I got the girl to be in the video. But
it was a very good video.
They shot it and did all that and edited it, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in 5 minutes, I think, is a good time, because I've watched videos myself. Once it starts getting too long, you kind of start tuning
skip
out.
Ahead.
Well, the song was I think the song was almost 4 minutes, and they were like, "What do you think?" And I was like, well, after, I knew nothing, and then working with these guys, I just pay attention to what they do and things they say, and you just pick up on stuff, and then just from watching videos myself. So he cut it, but I mean, the magic that he did in editing, they shot that all day and then cut it into 2 minutes. So it was 2 minutes, but it was perfect because the video's over and it leaves you wanting more. I'm like, man, I want to see the rest of that.
Yeah. And it's awesome.
No one liked it.
I liked it.
But no, I remember when you dropped that video and it was awesome. It was really cool.
I think people kind of forgot about it, and then I ended up posting it again not too long ago on Facebook, and I actually got even a bigger response the second time around. So I feel like every couple of months I should just put it out there.
You should throw clips from it from Instagram on Instagram too.
Yeah, we did it in a couple months because
that shit takes forever.
Yeah, I mean, between my schedule and his schedule, we have to find the right time to do it, and it took a couple months to finally get it done. But it was cool, and it was I was super nervous too. It's I've never done anything on camera.
I'm nervous doing these.
I feel like
so am I. That's why we drink.
I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so nervous talking into a mic. But but when the camera
it's just still
goes
the
on
feel.
you,
No, I remember the first time they asked me to do something. And I'm not even going to say the video, what the name is, because you can find it on YouTube. But it was the first time they ever had me. I was always there in the background and helping, and that was cool. But they wanted me to be the lead of this commercial they were shooting for a beer thing. And I look at it and I think it's terrible. And
what do you do with your hands? What do you do with your hands?
But I just remember, I remember doing it, and it's so awkward. Now I think that I can totally go into I don't give a shit mode, because I really push myself in public to make people awkward. So I think that helps with having to be behind a camera. But it's weird, man. It's totally different. You know, in your head, you're yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then it's go, and you just freeze up.
Right, and that's the same kind of thought I had too. I kind of knew. I kind of felt I knew what I was going to do, what I was going to say, and then all of a sudden he's
the lights turn on, you forget.
Yeah, it just you're.
But the thing is, it's you got to leave your head.
But the thing is, when you look at the camera too, and I always think in my head, if you look at the camera, if I look directly in the middle, am I looking in the middle of the lens, or am I supposed to look straight ahead so it looks like I'm looking and I'm thinking that all in my head, and I just look like a dumbass. That's pretty much how it comes off.
Yeah, and I remember Mike telling me a couple times, look at me. I think I was looking at the camera too much, and he's just look at me or look past me, so it makes it look
Mm-hmm.
So it took a lot of shoots and a lot of redoing, but
even working with Mary with that video in the beginning of it, Jer, there's you'll see, because you're going to be involved with doing stuff with the video stuff. Once the video stuff starts picking up and we're doing it more, and it's just sort of a regular thing, it's going to be these interview things. And we had Mary say a couple of lines, and Jared needed her to project a specific tone to it. So he was asking her to say it a specific way. And this is the first time that she's been in front of the camera. And he's you need to say it like this because you're emphasizing on never, but I need you to emphasize on again. So it was just, you could just tell, she's just staring at the camera, and then she would be all right, well, I don't know how to do this. And, like, she had to take time to think about it. But if we were just talking and told her to do that, she would just do it. But you just get weird because there's a camera in front of your face.
Yeah.
It's probably the same thing as, like, being in a male strip club.
Absolutely.
Where are you going to be doing, and, like, who's going to take you under to do the tattoos? Someone in Jersey?
Someone in Jersey. He actually was a past customer of mine just recently. I painted a bike for him and found out that he does tattoos. And we just got talking about it one day, and he's like, dude, I'll totally teach you, you know, like I'll tell you what to get, and because a lot of times I've been wanting to do tattooing years ago, you know, but again, to get into a shop and to get an apprenticeship, I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
You know, you're working for free, and you know you're learning a lot, but I just didn't have the time. My schedule wouldn't allow me to do that.
So how are you going to fit that into your schedule now?
I'm gonna find time.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm really excited that he's willing to teach me on my terms. You know,
yeah.
Like he you know, we discussed. You know, sometimes I'll go to his place, sometimes he'll come to my place, and he'll teach me, and I'm excited about it, and I'll find time. You know, and like when I told my wife about it too, I'm planning on taking this tattooing venture. She kind of looked at me like, how the fuck are you gonna fit? You know, like you already have so much going on, but you know, if it means not doing as much paint work,
yeah, because in the long run it'll pay off.
I'll totally
because it's
going
to free up more time for you.
Right. If I have to take on less paint work, I'll do that, man. Because I'm just, you know, it's just something I wanted to learn, something I wanted to do for a long time, and I'm excited. You know, so like I've already picked up equipment.
Good for you.
And so we're going to start soon, the so-called apprenticeship, you know. So, yeah, I'm totally super excited to do this. I can't wait.
That's awesome, man. I wish you the best of luck, and we're just going to wrap it up. I know you got to get home. I have nothing sentimental to say because I couldn't come up with anything.
Well, thanks for having me on.
No, I always like awkward silence.
Totally appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I always push your art toward. There's like a couple of solid people that I work with. It's just like, you know, and I always direct other people to you and a couple of other people just because it's not a headache working with you. You know, with how busy you are, and for me to have gotten stuff banged out in a night, it's just ridiculous.
A lot of artists are weird too. You know, they don't really want to have contact with the customer sometimes. They just want to do their own thing, and kind of, you don't hear back from them. It's like, hey, you know, I want this done. I'll give you the idea, and then you don't hear back from them until the job is done.
Yeah.
Which I kind of feel sucks because...
Yeah. I kind of stopped working with people like that. I work with you a lot. I work with John a lot, and I have the same relationship I have with you is very similar to John's, where I throw him an idea and he just does whatever he wants. And then, you know, I just always tell him, you know, do you. Just put on some metal music, make it look evil. I throw a lot of evil stuff to John. And working with Alexis now, she's a blast to work with, too. It's just like, she's, you know, it's also, you have to pick something that somebody's interested in. Like, I know what Alexis is into. She's into like 80s stuff and horror stuff, and it's just like, so it's like the first thing she did for me was that Gem and the Holograms idea. It was a no-brainer. She was pumped to do it, and because she was pumped to do it, she did it right away. And then it took me a year to get it printed, but it's printed. But I needed that shirt to be exactly how it looks now, and I couldn't find somebody to do it.
But it's good that you have a different caliber of artists that you
can
work with, because then you know whatever you're motivated, whatever you're into, whatever kind of design you want to put out, you pick the person that's
and I can throw designs to you. Like, for instance, like it changes every year, and I know like my summer line's done already. And for me to be that far ahead is awesome. And then I pretty much have winter knocked out because I ordered my sweatshirts too late. So these sweatshirts are going to be ready for next winter. I'll do the pentagram beanies and then some flannels. But like summer, I'm going to probably start hitting everybody up. Probably, I don't know, July. I'll start hammering out these cholo things. But what's awesome is I'll go to Alexis to do a girl cholo thing. I'll throw you 2 ideas, and I'll throw them to John, and then I'll throw one to Vince Smith, and I can have all you guys working at once. Instead of waiting for one person and be like, all right, dude, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's like I can get that whole line done in probably 2 months.
And I'm excited to see other artists spin on it.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Like, I think Vince is going to have some awesome stuff. He did some logos for me. And tattooed the one on me, but like he has such a rad style where it's going to really connect in with everything. But I'm doing so much new stuff. I'm definitely doing khakis. Like, I'll figure it the fuck out. I'm doing khakis and prison shoes, and I'll look like a criminal next summer. But no, man, like I do want to thank you for driving all the way up here and taking time out, because you're going to leave here and then go back home and start grinding it out again. But one more time, how can everybody follow you on Instagram at Ryzart it's Ryzart on Instagram.
Ryzart on Instagram.
Facebook, it's Ryzart.
On Facebook. And my blog is www.ryzart.blogspot.com.
All right.
And, that's where you can see my latest work all the time. Cool. I keep it updated the most, and that's probably the best spot to go.
And you can get all my clothing at neveragainclothing.com and SBI Bail Bonds Pennsylvania. Of Pennsylvania, is that the full name?
SBI Bail Bonds of Pennsylvania.
Why did you have to put of Pennsylvania? Was it already taken?
In New Jersey, yeah.
Oh,
yep.
SBI. What's the SBI?
It's actually SBI of PA.
For?
Originally, it was subpoenas, bails, and investigations.
So you're like a private eye.
No.
Yeah, you are. No. We're doing you, and then we're going to bring you on, and your outro is going to be Hall & Oates.
No, it's not.
I was watching you. It's definitely going to be that. You don't have to say. No. This is where you close.
No, you just say about sponsorship.
What? The sponsors? Yeah, we did that in the beginning.
No, but you're talking about asking people.
Oh, if anyone wants to come on, I totally forgot. I'm awful at
That's
this.
why I'm reminding
If anyone wants to sponsor the show, they can contact me at mike@neveragainclothing.com, and I can give you all the information on there. We have different plans you can set up and different ways you can go about doing it. But so far, we just have Steel City, Bethlehem. It's tattoos, and everyone there is awesome. It's one of the few shops that I can say you can go there and everybody rules. That's there, and I'll catch so much shit for saying that. It's not true. I know other people. I'm just trying to make them sound better. But they are a really good shop. I send a lot of people there. Yeah. They did Jesse's first tramp stamp.
No, they didn't. No, actually, no. Big Nell did a couple more.
Yeah, he did your Biohazard tattoo.
He redid it. No, he redid it. He fixed it.
Biohazard, the band?
No, just the logo.
Oh.
But it was for the band, wasn't it?
No,
you don't
just
like
the logo.
Biohazard?
I do. I actually know. I met one of these.
Whoa! Get him on the show.
Whoa! I'm from Brooklyn. No, that's a quick little story. I actually met one of the guitarists that was drinking all night with one of my friends. The one that had Biohazard tattooed on his lip.
Billy.
And I left, and I'm losing my voice.
They just played in New York.
He's not in the band anymore.
I don't think any of those guys live in New York anymore, though. Like, I think
California. Yeah. But the dude that had
a new CD.
No, I don't know.
They were supposed to when he was on that awful show, Super Band.
That's because he married.
Sebastian Bach.
Well, they don't. He doesn't tour with them anymore. Evan.
He doesn't tour with Biohazard?
No, they got a different bass player because I saw Biohazard.
So he was the lead singer as well, though.
Right. Well,
he was the lead singer. The guy that left that had he's been gone for years. But
so the front guy's not even fucking in Biohazard anymore.
Nope. No, Evan does not tour with them because I went to go see them at Starland Ballroom last year or something like that. And
I think they played there this year.
Yeah, and all the other guys are original members except the guy.
He's the main voice, though.
Yeah.
He's the main dude. But
how was it without him? Have you seen him with him?
I've seen him with him, and I've seen him without him. And the guy that covers for Evan, he does a pretty good job, man.
Yeah.
Like he does,
but you know what? Evan had that New York accent.
Right.
Put another guy with a New York accent, and it's the kind of the thing. But what happened was I was living in New York for a while.
Google why he's not there.
Yeah. I was living in New York City for a couple of years when I went to school for this. And when I moved back home, I had a friend that he text messaged me and said, hey, we're sitting in the bar with a dude from Biohazard. And I was like, okay, where are you at? Like, we're at the bar across the street from the garden. And I go, oh, okay. So all night long, he's sending me pictures. They're drinking. They drank all night long. The dude wrote, this whole thing to me on a piece of thing. Hey, man, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, he's not in Biohazard anymore. They fucking got up and ran out and left the dude with the fucking tab.
Oh.
So I have his phone number, which I can never use because all my buddies burned him by fucking had this tab.
He left the band. It says here 2011 for personal reasons.
Yeah, because he's banging a porn star. I'd leave too.
He's doing porn now, I think.
He said he has joined the band Attica 7 as a vocalist. He's
Never heard of
the
him.
ex-husband of pornographer.
Ex-husband? Oh, that lady got divorced. Okay.
No, he was still touring when she was there because she was at Croc Rock the one time when they played.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, off to the side.
I was there, but
side boob.
I was there, but I didn't see her.
Yeah, I definitely saw her. I met her. She gave me her autograph.
Did you rub her back?
No, but she kissed me.
That's awesome.
On the mouth.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. The Biohazard,
like
the Biohazard, the one to stick out in my mind, the albums that I loved the most was Urban Discipline.
Yep.
Probably the best album.
I just talked to somebody about
State of the World Address is good.
I got that for Christmas.
State of the World Address is really good, but
The
Urban
first
Discipline
one's good, too.
with Punishment.
Yep.
And it has the
Across
original
tracks.
has the original Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren in the beginning.
Come on,
that just is good. But State of the World Address is good. Really awesome, like bright orange with the logo and stuff like that. So I got that originally done. No, I got that design originally done. I'm not going to say where because it's embarrassing. But I was like, I was 16 when I got it done, and my mom was like, we were literally driving around, and she goes, do you want to go get a tattoo? And I'm 16. I'm like, sure. I give him the design. He does it, and it just got really like raised. So after a while, like a couple years, I was like, this is stupid. So I went to John McNell, Steel City, and I was like, can you do anything? So he literally like moved the whole design over, and the actual outside lines.
Let me see it.
The actual outside lines.
Shirt off.
Oh yeah, I added on
His lower back.
But the actual look, that's an outside line. He made it look like a shave, like a shadow.
Right. Yeah.
But that was the original outside line. But he moved the whole thing that way.
It's like if you remember the first Marshall Mathers CD. There's like a lot of crazy mushrooms around.
No,
his
these are
lower
all
back.
skulls.
And
I don't want to say it because they don't sponsor us, so I can't give their name. I already asked him. But
what is it? Squirrels?
Yeah, it's squirrels.
He has
grab
squirrels,
each other's balls.
Squirrels and
no, but he didn't sponsor us, so I won't say it.
Cool.
By the way, did he call you? Did he text you? I can't say his name. He didn't sponsor us.
Chris Hendricks?
No, the tattoo guy.
Oh no, he didn't. We should plug him, but I won't until he gets a hold of me. Jesse's the guy who raps everything
I will.
up.
It's Mike Earhart. I'll plug him.
So should we cut it before you said that?
No, I'm the editor.
No, I like Mike.
Mike's a good guy. He does really
He
good
is.
work. Yeah.
What shop is
he did all this freehand, so yeah.
He did Jesse's entire lower back.
With sexy unicorns and rainbows.
And cupcakes.
Yes.